to the MindSpa Podcast. Today's episode is our very fun Am I the A-hole pose. So we're going to jump right into our first post. I, 29-year-old female, am part of a friend group of 3, and we were all invited to the same wedding. The bride sent a group chat message telling us the dress code: semi-formal, jewel tones preferred, nothing white, ivory, black, or red, please. I found a beautiful deep emerald dress and bought it. A few days later, I got a private message from the bride saying, "Actually, I've now decided that none of us friends should wear green. It clashes with the bridesmaids' dresses, you know?" She asked me to switch and offered me cash back if I returned the dress. I said, okay, found another dress, royal blue. But when I told her, she got irritated and said I should have known better to consult her before buying. She says I'm making unnecessary drama, and she didn't say green was off limits originally. I feel annoyed because the budget, return shipping, and stress are sorry, I can't read that. Are on me. There we go. Are on me. Am I the a-hole for pushing back and saying I won't pay for the return shipping or hunt for yet another dress?
Wow. So the blue is also an issue?
Well, what I'm thinking, I know this, I now realize after reading it, it's a bit confusing, but it does seem like she's trying to say, I didn't say green was off limits,
So you
even
could
though
have
she
kept your green
did, and you could
dress.
have kept your green
But yeah, she
dress.
wrote in the group chat that green clashes with the bridesmaids' dresses.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So she's kind of going back on what she said, but also saying she's being dramatic.
Right. Like you're the
Right.
one who's changing the rules on everybody on the last minute, and we're trying to support as best as we possibly can. Uh,
Right.
but you're making it difficult for us to
Yeah.
be able to support.
I feel like this is an interesting topic just in general about brides and to what degree, as their friends and family, do we
Bend
bend
to
to
their
their
will.
will on their wedding day?
Mm-hmm.
And when is it just like, because you see this come up too with like no kids at the wedding and all
Mm-hmm.
these other sort of, I don't know,
I
rules
know.
that are put on these wedding
I
situations.
know. And I always look back at my own wedding. I'm like, I feel like I was a little bit too, like, I could have been more flexible on certain things.
Okay.
But when you're in the moment and
Right.
you are the bride, everything feels like it's revolving around your wedding day, right? And again, I
Yeah.
get that because you've anticipated this day, you have expectations, you're spending a lot of money on this day. And so
Right.
you want it to be what you want it to be. But I feel like there's also, in hindsight, for many people, probably this idea of like, okay, I was probably a little bit too rigid
Right.
with what I had expected guests to do, right? And sometimes it's the emotions that might get in the way of things, but it's hard because you want to support the bride, but then sometimes they don't realize that they're being very emotional about things and
Yeah.
it's starting to affect
Everything in
you.
their mind is blowing up much bigger than the
Yeah,
reality of the day would actually look like.
exactly.
I have to tell you, I am surprised
That what?
that you would be a rigid bride. Like, my experience of you is so not rigid
I mean,
at
rigid in the
all.
sense like no kids allowed,
Oh, that
right?
was
Like,
one that felt important to you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a no kids allowed rule. Just because again, like seating
Yeah.
and like
Vibes at the
the vibe,
wedding
you have
is a
kids running around from
completely
table to
different.
table.
People leaving early, the kids are getting tired,
Yeah,
screaming in the
exactly.
background.
So that was like one
Yeah.
of my biggest things. Otherwise, like with my bridesmaids, it was like you guys pick your own dress. This is the color.
Okay.
Pick your own
Okay.
style kind of thing. I was flexible in that sense. But I think when you mentioned the kids, I was like, yeah, that was me actually.
Okay, that makes
But
more sense because that one I understand because 'cause I'm just like, "What, you're rigid about things with what?"
the math is not mathing.
Yeah.
But certain things where it's like in hindsight, I'm like, and as a mother now, I'm like, okay, I wouldn't bring my own kids. But then if I had like a newborn, for example, right?
Right.
Like, does that fall under the kids category? For some and for many, it does,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like sometimes there needs to be a level of flexibility when it comes to certain things. But then also the dress thing too, right? I think it's like at this point, I don't know that she's the a hole for pushing back. At the end of the day, I mean, they're not taking that like the pictures are going to be one thing, right? And if
Yeah.
the bridesmaids' dresses clash with the green, well, I mean, I don't know that that's a significant reason enough to push for someone to alter and to change and to push their own budget
Yeah.
because it doesn't align with what you had in mind aesthetically.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair.
It's not, but then my mind also goes to what battles do you wanna fight? Like, is it worth the friendship to potentially push? Because the unfortunate thing about the person who posted the question, because 'cause you're not the bride,
Hmm.
if you push this issue, they will always have the "you did this to me on my wedding time, like you caused this stress." They will potentially hold on to that, and that will potentially negatively impact your friendship from now on versus letting it go on your end.
Mhm.
Right? Like you can salvage that relationship a lot more. So do I think that they'd be a terrible person for like pushing back? I don't. But do I think it would potentially risk the relationship due to the fact that it's regarding a wedding? Unfortunately, I
Mhm.
think somebody would
Mhm.
hold on to it
Yeah.
more
Especially
because
because
it's around the
emotions are
wedding.
high too. And so this might
Yeah.
not be the time to pick that battle, right?
Yeah.
Let me just do what I need to do. And then if I decide to have a conversation later about it,
Later.
then we do
I
that.
know.
But
Let's try to repair this later once it's done
mhm.
and that type of stuff.
Right.
But it is a tough situation. You want to be respectful of what, but I was thinking about the kids thing again, where it's like, actually, all things wedding related, these expectations when people say, first of all, some of the things that they do for, um, sorry, bachelorette parties and stuff like where it's like, let's go to
Expensive.
Vegas. I'm
Are you
sorry,
paying for my
but
ticket?
right. Or
Like,
destination
yeah.
weddings or even just like going to even from you're in Ottawa and you go to Toronto, that's like
Mhm.
if I do have kids,
Mhm.
if the amount of
We're
time I'm
talking
taking off,
childcare,
the cost,
hotel, like, yeah,
yeah.
it adds up.
And if
And then a
it's
gift.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And if it's family members, I always think of this too. If you say no kids, but then all the family members are going to the wedding, there's no one to look after your
Right.
kid. And if your kid isn't, um, like if you have to be away for several days, like I don't
Yeah.
know, there's certain
Yeah.
things.
That's a thing, right? Like those when you're a bride, I feel like you're in a different stage in life
Right, no
that you're not thinking
kids.
about those
Yeah,
things,
no. I
right? And it's
think that
like
could be the issue.
that's
Yeah.
the issue because I'm just like, okay, now like as a mother, I'm gonna look at things very differently, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but I think that those are that's part of it where it's like you're not in that season or in that stage of life where you have to make these considerations and like think about those things. Like if all the family members are here, who's watching the kids?
Right? Especially if it's
It's
yeah.
a family wedding,
Yeah.
right? But I think again, it's emotions are high, and at that point, the bride is thinking about what their wishes are, what they've anticipated their day
Yeah.
looking like, and it's tunnel vision at
And
that
now
point in
they're paying
time.
such incredible prices for it. We have a few
I
therapists in our
heard they were
clinic,
talking
right?
about it the
That
other
are
day. I was like 250 a
yeah.
plate. Like that is crazy.
It's it's insane.
That is
So you
insane.
understand why the emotions are high
Exactly.
and why so much pressure
A
is
lot
on
is
that
at
day.
stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I get
Next
it.
one.
So this is the free stay guest.
Yeah.
So I, 34 male, live in a two-bedroom apartment with my partner, 32 female. We invited her sister, or my sister rather, 28 female, to house sit and stay over while she visited our city for a month. We said, stay anytime. You're welcome.
First
Famous last
mistake.
words. But we assumed that she'd contribute a little towards groceries, bringing her own extras, use the couch, spare room, etc. Halfway through the stay, she started using our cars without asking, raiding the fridge for full meals, not just breakfast or snacks, having friends over late at night. My partner asked her to knock it down rather a notch. The sister flipped and accused us of being ungrateful and behaving like we rented the place out. Now I'm frustrated. We offered hospitality, but expected basic respect and communication. She says I owe her more than thanks because you told me I could just stay. Am I the a hole for telling my sister she has to leave earlier than planned because she crossed the line?
Mm, so much here to dig
There's a
into.
lot.
There's a lot here. I mean, okay, if we start with this, I'm kind of confused by this. I invited my sister to house sit and stay
Hmm.
over while she visited our city for a month. Are they there or are they not there?
Right.
What's the vibe you're getting from that?
Yeah.
Because you
So they
shouldn't
are there
have a
because
full
they
fridge if you're not
exactly.
there.
But it sounds
But
like they are there because they're seeing the friends coming over. They're
yes,
seeing the
okay,
car
so they
being
are there. So it's not really
used.
house sitting. It's
Right.
house like hanging
Just
out at.
hang
Okay.
house hang.
Stay anytime, you're welcome, but we assumed. They had me at assumed.
Yeah.
You don't
First
assume.
problem.
You have to set your expectations, especially when it comes to contribution and when it comes to family.
Mm,
Because I think that there is an assumption if you're not family to compensate when somebody's doing
mhm,
you a favor in a way that
mhm,
that assumption doesn't rest in families. It's not
mhm,
assumed.
mhm.
It's not
It has
unreasonable
to be
to
more
ask
clear,
for
if
it.
anything, with families, I think, eh?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. You have to be so that I assumed is definitely a problem because I think that their resentment and frustration towards her was probably amplified by not contributing because they basically
Mhm.
say the reason for her going is like, or us her wanting her to leave is the car and the
Mhm.
friends.
Mhm.
But that was probably amplified by also like the lack of financial
That's true.
contribution.
Like if you had the friends over and you were boarding the car, but you also contributed in a significant way, that might
Yeah.
balance out the scale a little bit.
Yeah.
But when the scale seems to be really disproportionate and tipped one way over the other, then
Yeah.
it feels more like a liability, if anything. And at
Yeah.
that point in time, you're in the right to ask her to leave early because the lines are being crossed. But then again, the lines were not always clear.
Right. Like what did you say about having friends over? Um the car one though. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like why would you assume it's okay to just use someone's car? That's why
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I guess I should have read through these more because it's so unclear. I would think that they'd use the car if they aren't there
Right.
versus that they are there. But let's go with okay, they're not there and she uses the car. Definitely she should ask, but
Right.
also where how do you expect her to get around?
Yeah.
She's not from the city if she doesn't
She's
have a
visiting.
car.
Yeah.
How is she actually supposed to get
Yeah.
around?
And so I think it comes back down to like the communication has not been clear. And
Yeah.
so you're feeling as if she's overstepping or crossing over the lines, but in her mind, she's like, there are no lines.
Yeah.
And
You're my
so you're my
brother.
brother, we're family.
Yeah.
And so that's even a tough position for him to be in as the brother, right? Because
Yeah.
this is your little sister, I'm assuming, and this is your partner,
Yeah.
both of whom have expectations of you. And someone's expectations are not being met at any given time.
Yeah.
And so that's where, again, having that clear line of communication. And as a brother, that's your role
Yeah.
to make sure that it's clear to your partner and to your sister what the arrangement is here. And if it's not clear, then for sure you're going to see that lines are being crossed continuously.
There's good news though.
Let's hear it.
Good news is if anybody finds themselves in this situation, all is not lost.
Right.
Because at any time you can say, "Hey, sis, I know we didn't talk about this before.
Yep.
So I know you probably didn't realize." Like you go in soft
Yep.
with not accusations, all this kind of stuff,
Yep.
that we wouldn't be okay with this because I'm assuming if you thought we wouldn't be okay with it, you wouldn't do it. So there was an
Mm-hmm.
assumption that we would be, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
communicated that we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And it can look like moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
we're not okay with people in past this time. We're not okay with you using our car. We'd like some contribution,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You have that communication, and
Mm-hmm.
then you say, and if that's not okay with you, that's totally fine. That's reasonable. We didn't talk about this in advance. Lesson learned. We should talk about this in advance
Mm-hmm.
next time. But if you can't at least like stick to these things, we might have to have you leave early. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be. I think that's what people do, right? Is they don't have that original communication,
Right.
and then they get stuck in like, you did this thing that was bad, which gives me the right to kick you out. When the
Mm-hmm.
reality is, I should have just been more clear in the first
Mm-hmm.
place, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to take responsibility for that. So
Yeah.
make you the bad guy
Right. So you think he's
instead
like
of,
partially the a-hole then for not having that like in between
yeah,
conversation?
yeah.
Because it's almost like he went from 0 to 100.
Yeah, like super permissive, do
Yeah.
whatever you want, and
And
then
now
you
you're
cross
leaving.
these like magical lines that she didn't know she was crossing, and
Yeah.
then you're like, "Get out!"
Right. It's like,
Like,
whoa, can we have a conversation?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
People forget that part
Yeah. That
sometimes.
you
They
can actually
they they
talk these
get angry.
things.
You
Yeah.
can use it, but you have to get into that actual, real, compassionate spot towards the other person. You can't pretend it.
Yeah.
That conversation will go well if you go, "I really think you weren't trying to hurt
Yeah.
me. You
I
weren't
think you're good
trying to
at doing
be."
that, like, just trying to see the best in people, right?
I
It's like
try.
I'm like, usually but it's like you have to be able to, like, okay, ask yourself, like, are there any possible other ways of looking at this situation, right? Is
Right.
it possible that this is not intentional on her part, that I was not clear? And I think that
Yeah.
that's a really good point. Like, if you come in with that compassionate lens, it changes the direction of
Mhm.
what the solution could look like versus it
Yeah.
being like, nope, she has to leave and leave now. It's like, but we
Yeah.
haven't even had a conversation about this yet.
And the ramifications on the relationship moving forward after like that can ruin
Mhm.
families
Oh my gosh, yeah.
long term and so unnecessarily because in a lot of ways the damage is already done. We can't get in a time machine and her not have those friends over or not use the car.
True.
So
It is
like
what it is.
focusing on I can't believe you did this, I can't believe you did that,
Yeah.
and get into right fighting
Yeah.
of like you should have known better,
Yeah.
and she'll be like, well, you should have told me. You know what I mean? Like it's just
It doesn't get us anywhere.
nope.
at that point.
Yeah. So good news.
Yeah, there's hope.
There is hope. There's a way out of this.
So, yeah, so partially
Yeah.
on that one.
Okay, next one. The parent who cancels their own birthday plan for child's friend party.
Mm.
I, 41 female, had planned a weekend getaway with a few friends for my birthday. Sounds like fun. Something I look forward to every year. My daughter, 10-year-old female, was also supposed to go to a friend's birthday party on the same weekend. Her friend's parents booked a fun activity, and it's kind of a big deal. My partner said, "You should do your thing. I'll handle the daughter's party." I packed and got ready, but on the morning, the daughter said she was disappointed and started crying. "You promised we'd have fun together for my birthday too." She looked genuinely upset. My partner then leaned on me. "Maybe you should stay home. The kid feels left out." I canceled my trip and stayed home. My friends are upset I bailed last minute. My daughter says she appreciated it, but later told me, "You always pick your friends over me." I feel squeezed. Am I the a-hole for giving up my birthday weekend to stay home, or would I have been reasonable to go and say, "You'll be fine" to my kid,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to go away for
My birthday
my
weekend.
birthday weekend?
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
that's a tough one.
I feel like this is a common one. Just in
Yeah,
like
like the
parents,
mom guilt.
the mom guilt.
Yeah,
I just want to point out, our love partner was like, "No, you go, girl. You
I
go have a good
know. Have
birthday.
fun. You deserve
I'll take
it.
care of the kid birthday situation."
Right?
Especially because it's not the daughter's
That's
birthday.
what I was
It's
saying. It's not.
her
It's her friend's
friend's.
birthday.
It's her
Okay. Well,
friend's
that changes
birthday,
things.
but it's a big deal birthday, and I guess she wants her mom there.
Yeah, at the party with her.
Well, it seems like too, she's like, "I thought you and I were gonna have fun for your birthday together,
Oh, but you're
you
going with your
and me, but you're
friends.
going with your friends." So I think that's the
Oh, okay.
core
Okay.
of it than anything.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I do. I get that.
Mhm.
I don't know that she's the a-hole on this. For giving up the birthday weekend to stay home? I don't know.
Yeah.
I get that because
She's an a-hole either way. The problem is she's an a-hole to
true.
someone either way.
Someone's gonna be happy. You're damned if you do, damned
Yeah.
if you don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That feels like a mother situation.
That's such a that's so hard.
It is.
That's so hard. And I feel like I don't know, for me, I think it would be important to make sure that my daughter felt supported.
Yeah.
Like I think I would prioritize that.
Yeah.
I think just because again of like just stages of life that they're in and attachment and like what this means. But then I would try to find a way to balance it. Even if I showed up at the getaway a little bit later in that evening and say the one night instead of the whole weekend, like I would try to find a way
Yeah.
to balance. And I don't know if that was an option for her or if it was all or nothing where she felt like
Yeah.
she had to cancel it. But then again, like, was there a miscommunication at some point? Because this weekend was
Right.
booked. You had to plan it to a certain extent for your friends to know that you're going away, for it to be in the calendar. And so,
Yeah.
what happened that they didn't know that you were going away that weekend for your birthday?
Yeah.
Um, and perhaps that's what happened, right? Where it's like, if this was well communicated, then perhaps I would have had an outing with my daughter the Friday before I left, or earlier in the week, or we would have
Right.
had a plan in place. And so, in some ways, could this have been prevented? Possibly.
Yeah.
But I think, like you were saying, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's the mom guilt piece sometimes that is hard to shake.
I'm also wondering what was communicated to the friends is the reason why.
Hmm.
Because for if I'm the friends, right? And my friend's committed to it, we're excited that
Right.
she's going to be there, and we have this whole weekend plan has been planned in advance, and then it sounds like at the last minute she's like, "Nope, I can't come because of my daughter's friend's birthday party." I'd be like, "I'm
Girl, for
sorry,
real.
for
Like,
what?" So I'm wondering if that because I'm not even sure what the relevance of that piece of it is. So if
yeah.
that it was focused on that, I would also be confused and be like,
Yeah.
"You do not value our friendship if
Yeah.
that's what you're choosing." But if she had said, "My daughter
Yeah.
has told me she feels generally I choose my friends over
Yeah.
her," and she had expected and wanted to spend my birthday with me, and basically it sounds like daughter's like, "I want you to want to spend your birthday
Exactly.
with me.
Yeah. I want you to choose me.
I want you to choose me." But what's unfortunate in the kids, like, I get it. They don't always understand that, like, for Mother's Day, for example, I often go away for Mother's Day. The weekend
Hmm.
of, I'm away Friday, Saturday, and then I come home Sunday, and then I spend Mother's Day with my
Hmm.
family.
Hmm.
And they're always like, "Why do you always go away for Mother's Day?" I'm
Hmm.
like, Because I need rest.
It's my
Like,
day.
what's the like, mothers actually want a day off. If
Right.
I think about when my kids were really little and my husband's like, "What do you want for Mother's Day?" I'm like, "I wanna have to do nothing. I
Mhm.
want nobody to have any expectations, wants, needs, or desires from me that I have to meet."
Right.
That can look like 1,000 different things, and I don't even care what it is, but
Right.
that's all I want.
Yeah.
And I get it that kids don't understand, especially a 10-year-old isn't gonna necessarily
They don't misinterpret
understand.
that at that
Yeah, that
age.
it's not like it's not that I don't want to be with you, but
Yeah.
I want to
I
focus
need
on
that moment of
myself.
rest and
Yeah.
yeah, just being able to rejuvenate and show
Yeah.
up for you the way that you need me to show up for you. And again, it's how it's communicated, right? Because
Yeah.
can that feel like a rejection if it's not communicated properly?
Yeah.
But then again, with what you do, it's I still spend the actual day with you. And
Yeah.
so that sends a different message versus like,
Yeah.
I need to spend the entire day away. And
Right.
I'll let me know when you're in bed and I'll
Yeah.
be home at that point in
I'll
time.
come back after you've gone to bed. Can you imagine?
So that feels different, right? And so again,
Yeah.
it's the balancing act. How do I balance it so that you know that your needs are met? You know that you're important to me. You know
Yeah.
that I prioritize you, but I also know that my needs are important and that I can prioritize what my needs are. And
Yeah.
it takes communication and takes planning. And I think when something is misaligned in that, then we end up in situations where these competing priorities are like
Mhm.
at the forefront and we're having to make decisions.
And it's hard to assess from the information that we have on, is the child, um have they experienced this a lot and they've
Right.
seen it a lot and this is a
This is,
repetitive
yeah,
thing?
this is behavior that they're always exposed to, which
Yeah.
from what she's saying, it's like, you always choose your friends over me, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not,
But or is it, I'm taking this one moment and painting all other moments with the same paintbrush, but that's not actually accurate because kids
mm,
can do that
that's
sometimes.
true.
That's their feeling in the moment and then they're cherry picking certain things from the past and mom could probably go, "Do you know how many times?
That's true.
Do you know the things
Can
I've
I
given
tell
up, the
you?
things I have not
Yeah.
done that it's to spend time with you and do stuff with you?"
Mhm.
So that's a bit of a tough one too, because
Mhm.
sometimes you can be trying to get the right balance, but the
Mhm.
other person is like,
They're
"That's
not
not the right
interpreting
one.
it.
I need you 100% of the time, whenever I want
Right.
you, whenever I need you," and that's the only thing
Yeah.
that meets my needs.
Yeah. So again, managing their expectations or having them manage their own expectations versus like
Yeah.
all or nothinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely would have looked at this and go, "Okay, from now on, for birthdays, we'll make sure that there is a family birthday celebration
Mhm.
and that whatever I plan for my birthday with
Mhm.
friends, I maybe offset that a
Mhm.
week or so, so
Exactly.
that
It's a
she
different
feels like
weekend.
you get the actual and then
Right.
my celebration can really happen anytime because 'cause we're
Exactly.
adults here. I really feel like we don't need to be like, "It's my birthday today, and I can only celebrate it
Exactly. That's a
today."
thing
Like,
too.
we're
Yeah.
adults.
And
That
there's
shouldn't be a thing.
yeah, there's flexibility in that. Right?
Yeah.
Like I need to blow my cake out on my actual birthday. No, there's flexibility in that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so.
There should, yeah. Hopefully there is. We can only hope at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thermostat war.
Yes.
So, work from home edition. So, I, 28-year-old female, work remotely full time in our two-bedroom apartment. My partner, 29-year-old male, uses our second bedroom as a hobby creative space. Sometimes co works there. I like the temperature around 20 degrees Celsius during work hours because it helps me to focus. He likes it warmer, about 24 degrees
That's a
Celsius.
big
That's
difference. Oh
hot.
my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That's uncomfortably hot. Anyways, he likes it that way,
Okay.
especially when doing creative stuff or video calls.
Mm.
One Monday, I came into the living room work area and set the thermostat at 20 degrees. He changed it to 24, saying he can't concentrate in a freezing room. I asked him to talk to me about it and we could compromise. For example, whether it's using headphones or space heaters or a schedule. He said he shouldn't have to adjust because I'm the one who chooses to work from home. He still pays half of the rent and wants comfortable conditions. We both ended up raising our voices, and now he's refusing to cooperate unless I agree to his temperature. I feel like the bulk of his work hours should get the priority. He feels equal rights in the same space. So, am I the a hole for insisting that the thermostat stays at 20 degrees during my work hours?
This isn't I am concerned about these people's relationship.
Yeah, there are
I
bigger
can't
things going on here than the temperature on the thermostat.
Yeah, it's funny because this reminds me of the fight of the socks on the floor is never about the socks on the floor, it's
Mhm.
always about something deeper because this is super concern first of all, the rigidity
Mhm.
is super concerning in the sense of even, like, I refuse to cooperate unless
Right.
you agree to what I want, then what are you then gonna cooperate with? What does that
Right.
even
It's not
mean?
cooperating.
That's not
It's you getting
cooperation.
your way and we're going with it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You know what this makes me think of? Sometimes people will say things like, "You never listen to me," right? And I think that sometimes people confuse the concept of "you never listen to me" and "you don't do what
What
I
I want you to
say
do.
when
Mhm.
I say it,"
Mhm.
right? And then they fail to see that when you tell someone, if it's "you're not doing what I want,"
Mhm.
the other person can equally say, "You don't listen to me then."
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
it's like they fail to be able to
Mhm.
see the other side of it, and both she I don't know, there's been no talk at all about and oh, no, I think she said, like, "Can we compromise?" But she didn't say about a temperature.
Right. It's just about the timing of the temperature,
The
not so much like
timing.
bring it to 22 degrees. It's more of
Yeah.
like, do we want to go on a schedule or do we want to have headphones or space
Yeah.
heaters?
She's definitely sounds like she's trying to be like, "How can we both be
She's more
comfortable
flexible.
when we're using the
Yeah,
space?"
yeah.
And I don't understand why he cares whether it's 20 degrees when she's in the space and he's
Because he's
not
not
in the
at home
space.
anyways, right? Like he's at work.
No, it seems like they share the space, but not necessarily at the same time.
Right.
I don't
Yeah. I don't
know.
think that
But
from
if it is
system
at
or
the
say
same
20.
time, one of the things is that it is easier to warm yourself up in a cold environment than it is to cool down in a hot environment.
That's a good point. And so is she then the one to be, because she's the one who wants that 20 degrees during her work hours and he
Yeah.
wants warmer. Um, and so again, that's where her compromise comes into play around like the space heater and other options that he can
Yeah.
use in that space when he needs it.
He does make an interesting point. Like, if you don't like it, you can work from the office. You don't have to work from home. If let's say they are trying to use the space at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah, I think, and it's one of those things where we're talking about this and arguing about this, but it's more of like, are there moments where I feel like my needs are not being met?
Right.
Are
There's no
there's no
flexibility.
flexibility? And this is an example
There's
of
no
that.
attempt to
Yeah,
compromise. I'm digging my heels in and becoming
right.
completely obstinate. Because, like, even to say I'm not gonna cooperate, like, is that just like I'm not gonna cooperate you with
Period.
anything
Yeah,
until I get my way?
right.
And what was her final thing for insisting that the thermostat stay at 20 degrees during my work hours? Because the other thing that is interesting is that she's working and his is,
The hobby.
hobby.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that is an interesting point. I found why did he still pays half the rent and wants comfortable conditions. You also pay the other half of the rent and also want comfortable conditions, so I'm kinda curious, like, I'm wondering if that was one of his arguments is like,
Like I pay
"I
half
pay
of
half
it.
the rent.
And I
I
guess the
wanna be
challenge,
comfortable."
right? Because again, he co-works in that same space. So there might be times where
Right.
they're both in there where she might
Yeah.
be working and he's doing his hobbies or his creative work.
Right.
And so how do we set that? And that's where again the compromise comes into play. Okay, well
Like,
let's set
space
it
heater
get a
sound like
space
a
heater,
good that
put it
did
by your
sound
feet and let's call it a
yeah.
day and you'll be all right.
Yeah, or
And
like,
again,
let's not work in the space at the same time, so let's figure
mhm,
out but I
schedule.
do understand, I get it, if it's creative work, it might not be like, you're like, "I wanna do it when I
When I
have the
need
creative
to.
flow,
Yeah.
not like, oh, I
Can't
can't
schedule
get
it.
in there and I can't do it."
Hmm.
But I would definitely be curious, like, how do you guys solve any other
That's what
issues?
I'm
If
saying.
this is like and man, 4 degrees, that's a big difference actually.
It's
It
huge.
is.
It's huge, and the fact that there's no flexibility and, like, coming to a compromise because
What
you can
about
easily
21 and
meet in the
23?
middle, you can meet in the middle. Like, there's literally a middle.
Right. I
But
love a
when
21.5. I'm a big fan of 21.5.
right. Exactly.
So, yeah, we're concerned about this couple, and they definitely need
They
some
need
of
some
our
coaching or
services, some
therapy.
coaching, some therapy to definitely yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, last one. The anniversary cake that was supposed to be special. Again,
Oh.
I think this one's a common one. My partner, a 35-year-old male, and I, 33-year-old female, had our 10th anniversary or have had our 10th anniversary coming up. I told him I really wanted a small celebration, a nice dinner, and a custom dessert, something meaningful. He said, "Got it. Leave it to me." On the day, he brings home a generic store bought cake, not decorated, not personalized, and says, I figured less fuss is better.
Mm.
Hope it's okay. Oh God, poor guy. I was hurt because I dropped hints for months and budget wasn't a huge issue. I just wanted effort and thoughtfulness. The next day, I said I was disappointed. He replied, It's just cake. You're making this into a big deal. Stop being ungrateful. Oh no. Oh no. This
Mhm,
is doubling
mhm.
down on bad.
Yep,
Okay.
downhill.
I feel like my expectation was reasonable. He thinks I'm being dramatic and emphasizing material things. Am I the a-hole for telling him I'm upset and asking for at least an apology slash redo, or should I have let it go?
Mm.
I really
Am I
like
the
this
for
one.
telling him I'm upset? Yeah. I don't definitely not the help for telling him that you're upset or asking for an apology. Um, and I don't think it's a matter of letting it go. I think just like the other scenarios, I think sometimes when we have certain requests or we're expressing what our needs are, we're wanting to know from our partner, do my needs
Mm,
matter? Are you there for me? Am I important to
mhm.
you? And that might come across with a request for a cake to be a certain
Yeah.
way. And it might just be the cake, but really I want to know, like, am I important to you?
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I think sometimes when there isn't that awareness of like this is deeper than just the cake being decorated or this being an
Yeah.
important cake. This is meaningful in a different way, allowing her to know how important she is to you in this moment. And sometimes when that is missed, it can feel like it does for this poster, right? Where it feels much
Yeah.
deeper than it would have otherwise, where he's just like, what? Less is more. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Um, but
It
what that
wasn't important to me.
exactly.
So,
So it wasn't important to you.
yeah.
It couldn't have been important if it wasn't important to me, right? But
Yeah.
that's the messaging that can leave the other person feeling dismissed
Yeah.
or disregarded. And that's where she's at, right? In this situation here, where it's like, hey, my needs don't seem to matter to you
Yeah.
because you completely fluffed it off and did what you felt you needed to do for you
Yeah.
without taking into consideration what was meaningful for me in this moment. And that could be a tough place to be.
I agree. There's something else that stands out to me that I'm like, this is concerning. And it is how he said, it's just cake. You're making this into a big deal. Stop being ungrateful. That he thinks the expectation was unreasonable and being dramatic and emphasizing material things because her request was a small celebration and nice dinner and a custom dessert for a 10-year anniversary. I'm like, oh no,
Right.
ha your request is actually quite, I would
Very
say,
reasonable.
reasonable to minimal,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's a bit I don't wanna use the term gaslight, like gaslight light. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? To
Mhm.
to then actually go and call a
Mhm.
person materialistic and
Right.
focusing on the wrong things and all this
Right.
kinda stuff when they just wanted to make it special in a
Yeah.
very moderate,
Minimal way.
inexpensive, minimal way,
Yeah.
and then you can't even do that
Exactly.
bare minimum because it doesn't matter to you.
That's the tough part, right? Like just because you don't find it to be significant doesn't mean that it's not to the other. That kind of goes back to the like
Yeah.
love language things too, right? Like
Yeah.
mine might be the gift and yours may not be gift, but if that's
Right.
how I
He's like, "I'm
speak
here.
love,
I'm
I hear there's a cake. There's
yeah."
icing on it. What more do you
Right.
want? But that doesn't equate to what I needed. That doesn't tell me that my needs are met. That doesn't mean to me what you think it might mean to you. And
Yeah.
so when there's that disconnect, it's going to be hard for her to feel connected and appreciated and all the things
Yeah.
that would have otherwise been there if her needs were met in that way.
I'm wondering what's getting in the way of him too to stop and go, "I'm so sorry." You know what? Those kinds of things, those kind of details are not my thing or important to me, but I missed making that connection that it was important to you.
Mhm.
And yeah, redo. Let's do that. Let's go get another cake. Like, what's
Mhm.
getting in the way of it just being an easy, like, my bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, redo. Let's
Mhm.
let's get it. Let's get us another. We'll enjoy it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, this doesn't have to be a big
No,
thing.
it doesn't.
If the reaction is just like, I didn't think of it that
I
way.
feel like if that happened, there'd be less conflict in relationships. If you would just like
Yeah.
had that like emotional awareness
Yeah.
of like, oh wow, my bad. Like I did not, this is not how I intended for this to
No, I didn't
look,
want you to
right? And this
feel
is
this
not
way.
like this wasn't my intention or my goal. I don't want you to feel
Yeah.
like you were dismissed or anything like that. But I feel like that's where a lot of folks are missing, right? That emotional awareness and understanding how my actions or inactions can leave the other person feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about us in terms of like, hey, how did this make me feel? I felt great. I felt accomplished.
Yeah, it was like,
I
it
managed
was
to
a
the
great
grocery store
dinner
before they
and
closed. Like,
yeah.
but it's more than that. It's about what does this say to the other person? What impact is
Mhm.
this having on the other person? How are they feeling as a result of my actions or my inactions?
Yeah.
But when that's not taken into consideration, then we have these relationships that are constantly in conflict where it's like, he doesn't care about me and what I want doesn't matter to him. It's like it shows up
Yeah.
in these little ways.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
it's even telling that she asks herself the question, am I the problem
Mm-hmm.
that I'm upset with this
Mm-hmm.
and I told him I was upset? Should I have just not said anything?
Yeah.
It makes me very curious about how safe she just feels to say, you disappointed me, you upset me.
Yeah.
Because we want that safety in a relationship where it's like, I can tell you how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, even if it's hard and you don't want to hear it, because it's going to be met with an attempt to understand
Right.
and not prove me wrong
Yeah.
about why I shouldn't feel that
Yeah.
way. I think that's the thing that people have a hard time holding space for both. If I didn't mean to make you feel that way, and I don't want to feel blamed or attacked for making you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's either or. I either admit that I made a mistake and I'm the bad guy, or I don't, and somehow
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the bad guy or bad
Mm-hmm.
person.
But that's where intention comes into play, right? Like you know what your intentions were. And
Yeah.
so I feel like when you're aware of your intentions, it's you own it differently versus
Mm.
feeling as if like I'm being seen as a bad person. But it's like, well, no, that wasn't my intention. So we'll communicate that to her,
Yeah.
right? Let her know that. But sometimes it's hard to get to that place. And like you said, the idea of like even vulnerability, of like, can I share this with
Mhm.
you without feeling as if you're gonna attack me? And is it safe to say
Yeah.
this? Or are you gonna personalize it? Are you gonna get mad at me?
Yeah.
But
I'd be worried what this would even say about the future. Like, if I can't tell you I'm upset about this thing and I need an apology about it, like, can you imagine the much bigger things in life? Be like, well, I'm just going to swallow this and not bring it up because they're going to get so defensive. They're just going to attack me. They're going to tell me I'm being materialistic. So I guess I'll just like, they forgot my birthday, but I'm just not going to say anything because,
right.
like,
I mean, I'm surprised that they made it to 10 years.
yeah,
Like with this,
yeah,
that's somebody is whether she's been suppressing and just pushing through or
yeah.
I don't know.
'Cause
But
it's not what he did. What he did originally, like, it was
sure.
just that's not the like, that's something that you can get past really easily. It's not the
Right.
big problem in this, it's
It's
how
his
he
reactions.
reacted to
It's the name
her
calling.
saying,
It's like you're
"I'm
ungrateful.
upset."
It's like how did I become
Yeah,
ungrateful?
right?
Yeah, for having these expectations and
But also, like, what kind of gratitude do you want for that low effort? Do you know what I mean?
I
Also,
wasn't asking for a lot,
right.
but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I do not think that you, ma'am, are the a-hole for telling him that you're upset.
No, we should always express our emotions. We should
Always.
always tell people how we're feeling, but in ways, again, we have talked before about delivery and communication. And like,
Yeah,
there is a way to deliver that
for
can
sure.
be easier to hear, which is like, hun, I really love you. I really enjoyed our celebration. It was really lovely. The
Mhm.
only thing is, like, just moving forward, just, because there was one thing that she said, dropping hints. No,
Mhm. Be
no,
clear.
no. Just like assume, no,
We
drop
don't do
hints.
that. We're not doing that.
No, we openly
We're past
communicate,
that.
just so you know, it's really, really important to me that this detail gets taken care of.
Mhm.
Are you okay with that? Are we on the same page? Does that
Mhm.
make sense to you? Like,
Mhm.
and all of that.
Mhm.
And if he's like, yes, 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 and then
And
he
then
comes with
still
the cake,
right.
then it'd
Then
be
we're having a
like,
different conversation.
were you listening or were you just yesing me? Do you remember the conversation?
Yeah.
Right? But like, no drop hints.
Yeah. Let's be clear.
But still, even if you did drop hints, and because she did have a direct conversation with him about it, in fairness, but yeah, his reaction. So,
That was not
okay,
helpful.
that's it.
That's it for our scenarios. And that was fun. I think it's important to have these conversations, right? And
Yeah.
so if you're out there listening and you would like us to go over some of your scenarios or any ideas, please feel free to email us at media@themindspa.ca. We would love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the MindSpa Podcast.
So that wraps up today's episode of the MindSpa Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to reach out to us at media@themindspa.ca. I hope you enjoyed the episode.